second weeks in free agency after having a jam-packed first week. We're going to talk about their quiet week and even though they were quiet in the free agent market, how they've been heavily scouting their draft process. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
Bobby Haize in the building, holding down for C-Dub, who out for right now. But Bobby, our team's had a pretty quiet second week of free agency. Let me ask you this before we talk about the draft and things like that. How are you feeling with them being as quiet as what they have? Really, the only prospect they signed is with Dylan Cole, right? Is that the only one that they signed? So how you feel about it?
I'm cool with it, bro. Me personally, I believe you got to go into this thing being strategic. You just can't be throwing money away just because you got it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go out here and play smart. You got to first and foremost, from what Pose has shown me, is that number one, you must fit our scheme. We're not gonna come in here and say, hey, maybe he can adjust. No, you're gonna have to fit the scheme, and you're gonna have to be a hard worker. And I think age is something that he's looking at closely, because if you think about all the signings, nobody is really that old. I think the oldest guy that they signed was Nate Davis, and that's at 28 years old. So, you know what I'm saying? He got a plan, and what us Chicago Bears fans need to do is just trust it, because right now he building a young, athletic team that's gonna be good for years to come. You don't want aging stars or aging players with a bunch of ifs or questions.
Yeah, and I mean that every GM has their own methodology, and you can tell that Ryan Poles and what he's trying to build with this team is really a team that's young, that still has players that can still do some developing, right? But also going to be young, energetic, that you don't have to worry about. Like I like what he's doing here, and even the Cole signing, like I like the guy's motor. Like after watching this highlight, because I won't lie and say that I was familiar with him at all before doing that. Like I just like what the pieces that he's added here, and I know Bears fans like. And that's for sports fans in general. I always try not to like crap on our own fan base, but like sports fans in general, like we just want to see it all right away, right? And Pose is being methodical. I just try to add too many syllables. Methodical in the way that he's going about free agency. And I for one look at it and I'm like, hey, listen, it's good to have a guy with a plan. And we'll see what that plan ultimately turns into. We know we still got work to do in the trenches. That's probably the biggest thing that we need to figure out. But Pose is really, if you look at from last offseason to this offseason, he's drastically transformed the team. And I know we still got to see this team take the field and see what it's going to turn into. But I, for one, like what we have. I like the mix of players that we have.
Me too, bro. I think that the mix of players that we have is really damn good. And I think Ryan Pace is doing his due diligence as a GM by, just because he was an offensive lineman when he played in the league. And if you look at it, I think it was a crazy stat that came out. The teams that played the most rookies, it was the Bears, the Texans, and the Chiefs. He comes from the Chiefs. So, and they just won a Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Chicago Bears going to win a Super Bowl, but he has an idea of what the hell he wants. And we know that Ian Cunningham, his right-hand man, is doing his due diligence as well. Somebody that's highly sought after. And these guys just going to do their due diligence and just be active to their liking, though. It might not be to us because we like, damn, it's so still people out here left. And they like, no, we're not just going to throw money because we got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
that's and what I'll say, too, is that you got to keep in mind that if you just use all your cap space to sign in a bunch of people, you may not have it next season. What Ryan Poles has done really is I like so far the prove it deals that he's given, the 1 year shorter term deals, because if he does need, he's given himself enough room to call an audible, right? If you've noticed that some of the signings you made this season don't work, you can go out, bring other players in. We already know that we're going to have another additional first round pick and second round pick next. Oh no, the second round pick comes the year after, right? That's what it is. So like Ryan Poles has set himself up to be able to have another big offseason next offseason. Shout out to Steve-O for joining the chat, bro. Steve-O, how you feel about the Bears and their fairly quiet second week of free agency?
I like it. I mean, I like it because it just shows me that he's being patient. He's doing his due diligence. He's not being impulsive. He's actually making sure it makes sense. And I think that's what a lot of us need to look at instead of looking at it being a quiet week. Instead of he just had a monstrous week, like back to back to back. So
that's a fact.
You expect him to just blow his load. Like we already seen him with opportunity when he had money. He had some type of money, a little money last year. He didn't blow it. So I don't know why people expected him to come in to blow it just because he had it.
Yeah.
That's not what he does. That's not what Kansas City did, and you can't expect him to do such.
And
And a lot. Go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna say another thing that stood out to me when you hear Post talk about the moves that he made. You know, initially when free agency started, he was like, "Bro, I could throw money at all these guys, but I want players that's gonna be here, that want to be here." He said, "How do we get Tremaine Edmonds and T.J. Edwards? They wanted to be Chicago Bears. That's what I want. I want players that want to be here and to buy into our vision." That's bro, you got to give him credit for that because he could throw money and do some dumb stuff. Because we know if Ryan Pace was here, he'd definitely be throwing money at Jadeveon Clowney right now, or throwing money. He would have threw all that money at Mike McGlinchey.
Mike McGlinchey would have been the highest paid lineman this year.
Bro,
maybe of all time. Like, let's be
Real
clear.
talk.
Ryan Pace would have gave Mike McGlinchey a contract, and Mike McGlinchey would have even had to be like, "You sure? Did you put an extra zero on there? I just want to make sure, you know." So and I get it why it's frustrating as well for Bears fans. It just, you know, they want to see this team win and they want to see this team get the best talent possible, but we got to be smart in the way that we go about it. And I like the fact that Ryan Poles is smart, he's patient, he's calculated, and I think we're gonna have a better team for it. Is everything gonna have the long-term fix this season? No, it's not. There are gonna be some things that we need to address next offseason. But guess what? That's why you have offseason every single year. This ain't Madden, where it's just as simple as max out the contract offer slider and you're gonna get that player, right? It's not that simple.
Or what y'all mugs really be doing, turning mugs into kickers so they easy to trade. Like we don't know y'all secrets.
That's funny. But then on top of that, it's like you just got to be patient about it, man, and you got to take your time. And I like that Pose has a focus on it. But one of the other focuses, though, is definitely, while they haven't been that active in signing free agents, they've definitely been active in going out and recruiting draft prospects so far. Bobby, what do you think about some of the prospects they've gone out and taken a look at?
Hey, you do your due diligence, man, because I think that, bro, we already know, man. Everything else was built great. You got you a new wide receiver. You got you a solid running back. You got you some nice linebackers. You already had the defensive backfield, you know what I'm saying, in place. Now, everybody knows this. Poe's not an idiot, bro. The trenches need to be built. Yes, we brought in Nate Davis, but we still got some holes to fill, and that's on offensively and defensively. So I think that with this guy being a lineman, he has a former lineman. He has his blueprint of what he wants, and he gonna be able to get it. And shout out him for doing his due diligence, being front row and bringing his entire team, even the head coach, on to look at these prospects, bro, because there's some good prospects out there. I know the kid from Penn State. That man, he liked to finish blocks. I believe it's his name Shrugs or something like that. I've seen some tape on him. He liked to finish blocks and he liked to pancake some people. So that's the type of lineman I want on my team. Put some people on their butt.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Steve-O, what do you think about some of the potential day two prospects that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus are definitely going out and taking a look at so far?
I'm more excited at the part that he's deciding to bring Matt with him. That's the most important key that I'm putting out. Like, yeah, it's good that he's going to look at. I'm noticing the players, but that's the biggest thing I'm taking out of it because he's sticking to what he's saying. That's why I keep people saying, like, yeah, people say a lot of things. They say they want to keep. I'm gonna draft scheme. He's doing it. What every decision, I can honestly say he talked to Flus about it, or Flus was a part of the decision. So yeah, I like some of the second day players. He look like some of the second day players he didn't already seen in Senior Bowl, like Michael Schmicks, some of the running backs, some even like a Jordan Reed. I think it's Jordan Reed or Jaden Reed.
Yeah, Jaden Reed.
Right, it's a lot of players he's looking at, especially like you said, they're not idiots. They know it's a trench heavy draft. And then I hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I don't want no young player." Yeah, we didn't want no young player. We had young sorry players on our line. We didn't have.
Point.
That's the thing. We had young, non-talented players on our team. I will take a Paris Johnson. I will take a Michael Schmitz. I will take a Pete. I ain't gonna say his last name. A Pete. You know what I'm talking about. I would take that. Those dudes was. We got Practice Jones in the what? Sixth round.
Fifth round.
And for one, we got him at Utah State. That's just credit of good scouting. They found a gym. he wasn't play. I guarantee he wasn't planning on him being a starting left tackle. But the point is, they know what they're doing. And if you look at how they going, they didn't throw no money at those big old left tackles. Because if they did, they would have had to fit the scheme. If they would have fit the scheme, they would have been paid. And they would have been a bear. But they didn't fit. So he didn't give them the money. Because he knew he can go in the draft and get what he wanted.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Now, one of
Bro.
the things that they showed up heavily, I can't remember. I think they said they had like 6 between the head coach, GM, and other people at this OSU Pro Day.
Bro.
How you guys feeling? Like, I'll say, like, there were 2 offensive linemen that shined, 2 defensive linemen that shine. Like, we're gonna walk away from this draft with at least 2 former OSU players in the first 3 rounds.
Oh, bro.
I'm not even mad at that too.
No,
Like,
I'm
to
not
be
either.
honest with you, because I just get good ball players in here, bro. I don't care where they come from. Just find them and put them in, because anything's better than Sam Mustafa. Trash. Oh my God.
That's disrespectful to trash people. I'm just saying. That dude.
Man, listen.
I want y'all to hear this. I ain't gonna be long. I'm just saying. That man was not even, let alone starting. That man wasn't a starting center in the Canadian League.
Damn.
Hey, listen. Don't worry about it. He's gonna be the best starting center in the XFL next season. That's what it's gonna be, bro.
And dumb man gonna get a job.
And Olin Crew still gonna be like, "How dare you talk about Sam Musford? I will shoot you." That's what I got to say.
Bro, you ain't put me in no locker.
You ain't putting me in no locker.
You ain't no put. That's the thing. You ain't putting me.
You ain't putting me in no
locker,
locker, boy.
The only way you putting me in the locker is if I'm dead body. At that point, I ain't worried about it.
You better knock me out. you better, that better be a clean shot.
Bro, that's all
You
I know.
silly, bro.
But
With that said, right now, DraftKings has put the Bears total over under at wins for next season at 7.5 wins. This is without us even having finishing our offensive and defensive line. How you guys feeling about the 7.5 wins right now projected to the Bears to get?
I'm taking the over, bro. The division is wide open. I think, me personally, it's bad.
The division is Malika Andrews. They can be keeping keep with the lingo,
bro.
Don't forget. Don't forget.
Hey, it's definitely Malika Andrews. It's bussing, but hey, I think that team. I think the best team in the division is dirty ass Detroit, and then after that, everybody else gonna be competing. So, but you know what I'm saying? I don't buy too much stock into Jared Goff, but I'm taking over. That's me probably being a homer, but early on, the over.
Listen, for a team that we finished 3-14 last season, and then we haven't yet addressed some of the most important in the offensive and defensive line, those trenches areas. I'm not mad at 7.5 right now. Now, after the draft, we can revise that. I'm taking the over too, because I trust Ryan Poles to address the offensive and defensive lines in the draft. And looking at the players and the depth that's available there, I think we're going to walk away with some damn good players there. So I'm looking at that over under and saying, yeah, for right now, where we sit right now, I'll take that, because it's going to be even higher. Steve, what you think?
I want everybody to take out their Google Bibles and turn to chapter last 6 weeks of the season. I want y'all to look at these scores.
Well,
first of all, we could have won that Vikings game. Am I lying?
Yeah.
The church gave you an amen on that one. Keep it moving.
The Miami game.
Definitely could have won that.
That first Detroit game.
Definitely could have won that.
That's 6 right there. So 7, I mean, I'm not mad at 7. Like 7, yeah, it's better than 3.
Bro.
Like, and me being a homer, yeah, I feel like we get 8 or 9. But like 7 is not terrible. Like 7 was not terrible. Yeah, I'd expect us to take a leap, but like I also don't want to put in stock that everybody think we finna be Philly next year. Like that's not the case.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if that's gonna be the case, but I think that third year that Josh Allen had or Jalen Hurts had, I think Justin Fields about to get ready to light some people up, especially now that Eberflus has just came out and said that he been working and talking to other quarterbacks on how to improve his 2-minute offense and how to improve on short passing situations. This man is working. He working his tail off. You just got to put it on wax. I mean, and he got him the number 1 wide receiver now. It's busting.
Like for real, like just look, like bro, that Denver game was 35-32. That Lions game was 31-30. That I forgot the Falcons games was 27-24.
Yeah.
That
those
Eagles
games,
game.
the games we lost because of C-Dub's
Flags.
favorite player Santos.
Oh. Hey, that boy said,
bro, that was the funniest thing ever.
I ain't never seen that man get that serious in my life, bro. That boy, the meter changed. It shifted. I thought that
That's
boy got
real.
possessed.
For
Yeah,
real,
for
though.
sure, for sure. I listen right now. I can't be mad at anywhere that's predicting the Bears. Like I just look at it like this: like we still got work to do. We know we still got work to do before we start next season. And don't sleep on Ryan Poles having a big draft. Look at what he did. He hit on more than he missed last season, right?
Bro,
And he also
yes.
turned what we go into last draft with. It was like 6 picks, and he ended up turning it into like 9 or 10 picks.
Yeah, he
This
definitely got
man's
more.
He's gonna be cooking, and so let's trust it. And not to say that we should have the blind faith, like everything's just gonna be solved, but he's gonna do what he can, and it's gonna be improved from what we look at it right now. And I trust, and I can't wait to see what this team looks like. And I also want to say this: as much as everybody's talking about Justin Fields, Luke Getsy also got to cook, bro.
Yes.
Luke Getsy got to get.
Mm-hmm.
You got to open up that playbook next season. I understand why you were a little bit more reserved on it last season. I can give you that. But you now have the weapons. If you also have an improved offensive line, you have to get creative, bro. We've seen it. We've seen flashes of you get creative. Am I saying run a trick play and a bootleg every single play? No, I'm not saying that. But get a little bit more creative. Open that playbook up. Use the weapons that you have because DJ Moore is hungry. Darnell Moody's going to be hungry to come in and prove some people wrong. Chase Claypool wants to get paid. He's going to be hungry. Use these players. Foreman coming in with a chip on us. We're going to have a lot of chips on our shoulders on this team. You got to use it. Build that up, and I think this team's gonna have a pretty good season next year.
And I like that you said creative because I don't even think like you said it's not like do a trick play. It's like you didn't like. There was many times I was looking at the situation. I'm like, why are you not trying to scheme somebody open? Like you got to scheme people open. Like you never once saw who was guarding Mooney and said, motion to the slot. I'm gonna make you run a slant because I know he can't keep up with you, and and your yak is crazy.
Fact.
Like that's what I need you to. That's what I need you to see out of my OC, especially if OC that's got a large majority of the play calling to do. So like he does it at times. Like I mostly see him do it with. I say Cole Komet. He mostly does it with Cole Komet. Besides anybody else, like Claypool, he should have schemed on him to get so many one-on-one plays. Even can playing with screens. Like you could do it with screens. Like even with like Haize said earlier, they said they was might put DJ in a backfield. Like this is your time.
Definitely
you got two players you could get. You can do some things with Claypool and they two different type of receivers.
Yep.
DJ too. Like that's what I'm saying. DJ and Claypool both similar. They could be creative in a dump off game, the screens, stuff like that. You could put DJ in the backfield. Like that's why I want you to get creative here.
Oh, bro. Shout out to I told you for the super chat. I'm gonna get to your question after I just say this real quick. If Luke Getsy could go ahead and put together solid games, how he put together first drafts, the Bears would be solid. No, bro.
That's fair.
I told you.
Now when it
I'm
kind of
just tell you this.
I'm
just tell you this.
I wouldn't draft him early. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, hold on. Let's read the question for the listeners afterwards. He said, "Do the Bears need to draft a cornerback? What you think and who?" I actually do have this. I'm digging into what I was going to do on the daily episode. I'm just going to give you a little bit of it. So I do think that the Bears. Well, I'm not saying that I think they're going to draft a cornerback, but if they do, they're not drafting until late in the draft. And one player that's sticking out to me is DeJordan Strong. He's a cornerback. He went to Coastal Carolina in the Sun Belt. So this is not a player that a lot of people are going to know. He's a senior, but this dude has probably one of the most coverage versatilities of any cornerback in the draft. He doesn't have the highest ceiling, but I do think I can see the Bears going after him. Like I said, senior, plays well, tough tackler. He doesn't have the best size. I think he's only 5'11", but he's tough. He can play in almost any type of coverage. If I think the Bears are going to go cornerback late in the draft, listen, remember you heard it here first. DeJordan Strong, maybe a Bear.
Bro,
go ahead, y'all.
I'm gonna check him out for real because I ain't even been paying attention to him. Honestly, I ain't been paying attention to no defensive back. Defensive backs because I'm trying to get the trenches right. That's who I've been paying a lot of attention to. So I'm gonna definitely check him out.
Yeah, they're like the cornerback talent in this draft is just not that great. And like I said, like Haize just said, if we are, it's strictly a depth piece of where he can fit into the scheme. It's nothing serious.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, he surprised us all. We all thought wide receiver was going to be the biggest thing, and then he went cornerback earlier and was safety. So we'll see what it ends up turning into. But I mean, I do think that also our secondary did pretty good last season, and I also think that when we had some injuries, there were some players in that secondary that shined maybe a little bit more than what we thought. So I think Ryan Poles, knowing how he likes to evaluate talent, and again, you can't address every position this offseason. I think he may want to do another evaluation season on what we have in the secondary, and then next year use that to address it. So
for real, because I think that players like Jalen Jones, when he had a little, he was undrafted, I believe. When he got a little time to shine, he performed well. And then Blackwell was another one that came in and did pretty good. Just get Vildor out of here, because my man had 3 weeks to win for somebody to buy his jersey other than his family members and couldn't even accomplish nothing.
I'm so tired of Kendall Vildor, bro. Like, I laid it out easily. I said I would buy a Kendall Vildor jersey. All he had to do was make an impact play, a sack, or an interception. How like an impact play? You can't even define impact play. The fact that that it wasn't even a conversation, right? We never even had the conversation of, hey, do you think this was an impact play? It never came up. Come on.
You know why? Because you did it after he got a interception. He used all this juice. It was gone. It's what's the NBA Street? The bar. It was gone. It was gone. It was gone.
That's funny.
I can't stand that dude, man, and his duck stance, bro. Like, get that man up off
that
my
boy
team,
look like
bro.
a Mediterranean sea moose, bro.
That's crazy. Now watch all this slander. He gonna come out next season and just like all of a sudden find himself.
Bro, he gonna be balling.
That boy, the king of arm tackles. No, thank you.
Kendall Vildor mama don't even own a Kendall Vildor jersey, bro. Like, that's the deep thing about
that's
it.
tough, bro. Your mama don't even buy your jersey.
I bet Reggie mama got one.
That's because Reggie mama never mind. We keep cleaning up the stream. I'm gonna let it go. All right, fellas. Anything left, man, before we end the stream tonight, fellas?
I would say also look out. He might trade back. Like, you never know. I've been hearing a lot.
Prospect. Do you guys think that he could that he will realistically trade back from number 9?
It depends on how the draft go. I would say
who falls there.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because it's like I can't. I will say I don't have a huge gauge on like who he really like. Like, I can't pinpoint nobody. Like in the first round, like when we had the first pick, I could pinpoint who he was gonna pick. It was out of 2 people really. This he can go so many ways. Like, I don't know.
I'm not. Yeah, I could definitely see him traded back too. Because what if you be like, all right, boom, I give you the 9, I move back in the first, but then you give me this year's second or something crazy like that. Because I think when it comes to the second going into the third, the Bears are like, they got picks like close by each other from the end of the second going into the third.
63rd, something like that. I think
it's like it's close. So he probably feel like there's some prospects that he's seen at the Shrine Bowl, who pro day he probably been at or something like that, and be like, give me that, give me more picks, and you'll still be solid, because you know what I'm saying. It's definitely still talent in the trenches out there.
So it's 53 to 60. It's 53 to 61.
Yeah. So
okay.
Close by.
We'll see. I told you with another one. Thank you for supporting the channel too, brother. He says, NFC North related. Will the Packs be the new Pats? What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. What you mean by that?
What you mean?
Like,
kind of. Are you saying basically kind of
fall off?
Like, yeah, they fall off a little bit?
Oh, for sure.
I think that's very, you know what I'm saying, is likable.
And the sad part is, Jordan Love worse than that. So like, they really gonna fall off. So like, I don't know, bro. They future is just like, like, I don't know. Like, hopefully they like. I don't like with this draft coming up next year. I don't know if they got any possible way of doing such. They're going to get a quarterback, but as of now, it look like you're stuck with Mr. Love, and they say they love love. So we gonna see how much they love at the
Oh,
end of the
bro,
season.
but hey, Ryan Poles, you said take the North back. Here we go, baby. Let's get it.
Bro,
Man, let's
here's your
get it.
opportunity. Year one.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Right now, number 9 pick on the board. If Paris Johnson and Peter Skoronski, who you going with?
Paris.
Paris. Yeah,
Paris.
that's
I
what
think
I would
that's what
take.
I'm leaning to, man. I think
Paris.
that's what I'm leaning to. I have heard some things that Jalen Carter may fall, but I don't trust him to get past Detroit.
That
I
ain't
think
no
Detroit's going to get
guarantee.
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, they might try to stick it to the Bears on that one.
Ooh, bro, if y'all get you, I'll be that's gonna irritate me.
I hope he stay overweight.
Oh, bro.
He may not like
that's what that's the scary
ain't nothing
part
to
of
do in Detroit but work out. Like he's like he ain't gonna have nothing to
I
do
don't
with
know.
it.
He might have a fetish for Coney dogs. You never know.
I mean,
Coney
shout out on that, but it's still at that point like the only thing to do in Detroit is to be depressed and eat and work out. Like he got to make the right decision. At that point, you got to make a business decision.
bro.
And
Can't
be
even get a
cold as
good
hell.
car out there no more.
Bro, they still in the mother in 30 seconds.
That is
Lickety
hilarious.
split.
All right, man. Let's stop before we get people in their feelings again about their whack ass city, man. Go ahead and plug your social medias, man. Let's get the hell up out of here.
Hey, just follow me on Steve-O Speaks on everything, IG, Twitter, all that.
Bro, because my guy be speaking. Y'all already know, man. Hit me up at Shy Bulls Podcast. And of course, right here, and NBA Central. Y'all tweaking.
Bro, y'all need to go to NBA Central. I'm tired of y'all. For real. Y'all be on here all the time. Y'all know y'all be liking NBA too.
Listen, don't worry about it. We're gonna catch them in the off season because when we bring this content and these
bro.
updates fast, they gonna listen. Y'all gonna be caught slipping and behind the 8 ball on NBA Central, and that's fine. I always like being the underdog. You guys can follow us collectively at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, you want to leave a text message, voicemail for a mailbag episode 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related. Bear down, y'all. Peace.